This is ET now, and you're watching our special telecast. Jayalalitha continues to be critical. One of the last standing leaders or mass leaders in Indian politics continues to be extremely critical. There were erroneous media reports being put by local Tamil news channels about her death. But of course, Apollo has clarified that she's alive. She's still on life support system. They're doing everything it takes to keep the Honorable Chief Minister alive. And that statement came in at 5:58. So just 2 minutes back, Apollo has clarified that as of now, Jayalalitha is extremely critical, but TV channels are wrongly reporting about the Chief Minister's demise. And the press release has not just come in from the Chief Operating Officer of Apollo Hospitals. The clarification has also come in from Sangeeta Reddy. So that's the Reddy family that owns and operates Apollo Hospitals. I've got two very special guests, Swaminathan Iyer joining me right here on ET Now, and Sagarika Ghosh as well. Swami, you go first. Jayalalitha, and you know, we're not going to add to the rumor mongering at all till there's an official release. The official release right now from Apollo says that Jayalalitha is extremely critical. She is on life support, and television channels putting out stories about her demise are false. So we will go with the official version, even though it's important to tell our viewers here that according to PTI and pictures that have been tweeted on social media, the party headquarters in Chennai have lowered their flag. But of course, there's no official word just yet. And so we're going to go with the line that Jayalalitha continues to be extremely critical. But given the cult following that she has, how crucial and how critical is Jayalalitha to not just Tamil Nadu politics, Swami, but also Indian politics at large?
Okay, Jayalalitha is one of the two truly critical people as far as the politics of Tamil Nadu has been concerned for more than a decade. She inherited the mantle of the AIADMK from MG Ramachandran. On the other side, we have Mr. Karunanidhi, the great doyen of the DMK, now extremely old and with two particular sons, neither of whom is particularly distinguished, fighting to be the heir. Now, if Jayalalitha goes, there is a huge vacuum created because she never anointed an heir. It was never clear. She gave no indication of who should succeed. On two occasions when, because of court action, she had to step down, Mr. Paneer Selvam was asked to be in charge. But everybody understood that he was asked to be in charge not because he was her favorite. He was asked to be in charge because he was seen as somebody with such limited power and appeal that he could not possibly pose any threat, any change of course, and would meekly hand over whenever required. So that was the kind of qualification of Mr. Paneer Selvam. So if Jayalalitha goes, there is a huge vacuum in this particular party. When MG Ramachandran died, the party split. There was a bid for power between his wife and his mistress, Jayalalitha. In that particular battle, Jayalalitha, clearly the superior politician, came out on top. What will happen when she dies? Well, if she dies, I think it appears that the first reaction of the party will be, we have to have somebody in charge, so let it be Mr. Paneer Selvam. Will he be able to hold the party together? Will various different factions begin to jostle for power? Will he be able to manage the tussle between the different factions? Will there be a split in the party? All these are open questions. While on the other side, the DMK will be waiting hungrily to see, is there going to be a situation which it can take advantage of? The problem it faces is that it also has this great patriarch who is not in good health and who may not last till the next election. And if that happens, you might find that the DMK gets into as bad a trouble as the ADMK might just now.
Indeed, those possibilities will be looked into and debated upon. But I've got N. Ram also joining me in the phone line. And Sagarika, I'm going to come to you just next. But let me just take this across to Mr. Ram. Like Swami pointed out there, the flux or the kind of vacuum that may be created in Tamil Nadu politics is a cause of concern. But right now, of course, Apollo has clarified Jayalalitha continues to be on life support. The question that I posed to Swami really was that why is Jayalalitha so critical and so crucial to Tamil Nadu politics? And are we looking at a vacuum of sorts if the untoward were to happen?
Well, as everybody knows, the so-called national parties have not had a look in since 1967. They've been allies, they've been junior partners, but one or the other Dravidian movement party, the DMK or the AIDMK, has been in power. The AIDMK for longer periods of time. And Jayalalitha, the charisma plays a role, and she's a very strong leader despite her difficulties. So it's not surprising that if the worst happens, there's going to be, these things will sort themselves out. And there are some unpredictable elements, but what you can bet on is that any extra constitutional play will be given short shift because there's a clique around her, extra constitutional players, and if they try to do some backseat driving after her, then I think it won't work. It's possible only their influence, their role is possible only when she's around to exercise her power, and that I think is something which you can predict, that extra constitutional play will be neutralized, will not be possible without such a strong leader.
I will come to extra constitutional and beyond Jayalalitha, because it's important to get to the phenomena of Jayalalitha. And Sagarika, we just had a short chat before we started this show. Really, the fewer of the last mass leaders, so to say. She's iconic. She has cult figure in Tamil Nadu. I mean, look at the scenes outside Apollo Hospital, and they will tell you the kind of status that she really enjoys in Tamil Nadu politics. It's quite a phenomena that she's kind of built around herself, hasn't she?
Absolutely, Supriya. She really is a phenomenon. I think we're looking at what we can call as a Jayalalitha phenomenon, which actually is a template that many other leaders across India, Mamata Banerjee particularly, perhaps even leaders like even like Mayawati, women politicians who are these mass leaders with a huge cult following. It's a template that they have tried to adopt. Now, I think with Jayalalitha, I was in Tamil Nadu just earlier this year, and really there are four things about her that really strike out. The fact is that she has, as Swami pointed out, an enormous fighting ability. Every time she's down, she's clambered back up. There is that famous story when, MGR's funeral procession was going by, and she kept trying to clamber onto the cortege, and Janaki, MGR's wife, kept trying to push her off, and she kept trying to climb back on. So that's really Jayalalitha for you. I mean, incredible setbacks, court cases, but she's come right back and defeated her adversaries time and time again. So enormous fighting power, a ruthless politician. Underneath that convent-educated, well-read exterior, there is someone who is not afraid to make and break alliances. We know how in 1998 she formed that alliance with Vajpayee only to pull the rug under his feet from that 13-month government. Then she allied with the left. She allied with Prakash Karat. So she's not afraid of making alliances across the board whenever it suits her. She's a ruthless politician. Thirdly, I think the connect with women is incredible. I mean, I saw this in Tamil Nadu this year when I was there, and of course the odds were against her. The polls were saying that because of the Tamil Nadu history of anti-incumbency, which she of course broke after 32 years in this election, she would lose. But in fact, she defeated anti-incumbency and came back, and a lot of it is because, again, I think her appeal with women. The women turned out in huge numbers in this election, and there is a certain Amma factor that works very well with rural women particularly. And, fourthly, I would say that she is, in fact, a very good administrator. She has delivered good administration time and time again. The Amma canteens, which I visited, are quite excellent in the kind of hygienic, dignified food that they serve to the poor. Yes, it's perhaps populism, but she's also proven her administrative track record. So I think Jayalalitha has embodied and continues to embody a certain kind of mass, populist, tough, state leader, which is a template in Indian politics. She's a phenomenon. Amma's a phenomenon in Indian politics. And I think in politics, as mass leaders get fewer and fewer and politics gets disconnected from people, I think Jayalalitha stands out as really the last of the great mass leaders of Indian politics.
Oh, indeed, absolutely. But Swami, I'm going to take this away from just Tamil Nadu, because you did allude, and I think Dr. Ram also alluded to the fact that national politics or national politicians or national parties have really played second fiddles to the DMK or the AIA. DMK played junior partners, so to say. Given that AIA DMK will be on a sticky wicket if something were to happen to Jayalalitha, and the DMK has shown no signs of resurrection, really lost 2 assembly elections, subsequently. My larger question is there an opportunity for national parties to kind of find their feet once again in Tamil Nadu politics, whether it's the Congress on one hand or perhaps the BJP on the other?
As of now, I see no chance at all. In fact, if you just look at the history of India over the last 20 years, I would say you can gradually see the big all-India parties claiming to represent everybody getting diminished in stature in state after state, with other parties based on region and religion gaining ground. That having happened, I mean, if you take a look at, if you go back 20 years ago, the national parties, you could say, were Congress, but the Janata Party was the communist parties. Today, all of them greatly diminished, and the other parties have come up. In Tamil Nadu, the 2 regional parties are extremely strong. The Congress party, which attempted to raise its head and be an all-India presence, has diminished with every single election. The BJP on its own is absolutely nowhere in that particular state. So I would expect regional parties to continue to absolutely hold the upper hand in that particular state. I don't see the national parties coming back there.
You don't see the national parties coming back, and you're rightly to point out that national parties are slowly and steadily diminishing. That whole phenomena of national parties present in the center and in the state slowly diminishing. But Dr. Ram, if I may bring this to you, there may be very little chance of a Congress and a BJP making inroads. But how does the Tamil Nadu politics really contour from here on? AIA DMK, perhaps without its tallest leader, is, how chickenless ahead, or how headless a chicken is that going to be? And is there opportunity for the DMK to bounce back at all? There's this trouble in that household, in that paradise already.
Extremely strong and well placed. They are a very strong opposition, and they are clearly the dominant player. They will be the dominant player if the AIDMK is weakened. I don't think Congress. I agree, Swami, that Congress doesn't seem to have. Congress or BJP, they're not going to make any inroads in the short term, or perhaps even in the medium term. But the AIDMK still has a majority, so it'll take a while to play out. If the I come back to this idea of the extra constitutional players. If they seek to wield power, I think it'll go very badly. But if they pursue a steady course for a while, they can, I think, continue with their majority in the Tamil Nadu State Legislative Assembly. So the DMK, I think, is playing a very canny role, what looks like a moderate and constructive role at this point of time. And I think they are very well placed, I would say. Having lost the election now, suddenly they find themselves in a stronger position to dominate or perhaps have a major say in the direction Tamil Nadu politics is going to take. So I don't think... whatever noises are made, Congress and BJP, they are not going to make any serious inroads, given there's a I don't know if there will be a vacuum right now. There will be a loss for the AIDMK, but they're going to occupy plenty of space. And the DMK, as I said, has a huge advantage if it plays its cards right, as they are doing now.
I must though ask you, I'm tempted to ask a second question before I move on to Sagarika, Dr. Ram. When you said the extra constitutional authorities, reports are that Sashikala could be the General Secretary and Paneerselvam could be sworn in the Chief Minister. Is that a combination that you're referring to? Are you referring to the back seat or that sort of a driving by somebody like a Sashikala who will perhaps have a moral authority by the virtue of having been close to Jayalalitha
yes, I think
herself?
so. Since she has no political credential, no political experience, we don't know if that's going to be the arrangement. There'll be a strong resistance to it. There'll be very strong resistance to it. Hello? Yeah.
Yes, I get your point. There'll be strong resistance to this. Sagarika, let's bring this back to you. You've traveled Tamil Nadu extensively during the assembly elections. I remember having a chat with you even after you came back. What is going to be the most obvious scenario? Because Indian politics has a lot to do with who succeeds, who's the successor. It looks like Selvam is the man being considered for the chief minister's job. But could Sasikala be the political authority outside of the government? Is that a possibility that the AIA DMK is perhaps looking at this stage? And how will it really merit for Tamil Nadu politics?
Very interesting question, Supriya. You know, when we talk to AIA DMK leaders in Delhi, they always wear the white shirt, the transparent white shirt, so that in the pocket of that white shirt, you can see that they're carrying a portrait of Jayalalitha. That is the level of hold she has over this party. There is Jayalalitha and there is Jayalalitha from number 1 to number 20. So it's very difficult to see who can possibly succeed if there is a power vacuum. Mr. Selvam, of course, was acceptable in 2001 and acceptable again in 2014 when she made him chief minister, when she had a setback, a legal setback, when she was forced to demit office because of the court cases against her. But he was very much her nominee. Very much under Jayalalitha's shadow was Mr. Selvam there. He functioning as a kind of deputy, functioning as a kind of simply as a kind of nominated person by Jayalalitha. But if Jayalalitha is not there on the scene at all, will the cadres of the AIA DMK accept Mr. Selvam? That really is a very important question, because it's very difficult to see who can really match up to this supreme leader. You know, it used to be said about MGR in the old days, about the MGR when he founded the AIADMK, that he was number 1 to number 17. And I heard this time when I went to Tamil Nadu that Jayalalitha is number 1 to number 20. So there really is nobody else. So in the immediate term, it really depends on whether the cadres accept Mr. Selvam or Sasikala or any other possible successor. But it does seem to me that Mr. Selvam is the front runner, although whether he will be acceptable to the cadres without Jayalalitha's presence is really an open question, because, as I said, he was acceptable earlier, but only as her nominee. On his own, really, it's an open question.
You know, this also brings me to a very interesting point in Indian politics. The regional satraps and the kind of authority that they have exercised or is at their command. Swami, it's tempting to ask you this, whether it's Jayalalitha, who doesn't obviously have a political air in place, or it's Mamata Banerjee, who doesn't have one, or it's Nitish Kumar, who doesn't have one, or for that matter, the newly bred Arvind Kejriwal doesn't have one. This is a phenomena in Indian politics where the regional satraps are very strong, but if you look at a lot of them, they do not have their second in command. They do not have a political air in place, and that does leave a lot of uncertainty to deal with.
Well, what we are seeing is a grave institute.
Carry on, Swami, we can hear you. Swami, we can hear you. Can you carry on? Okay, we'll go to Swami next. But Dr. Ram, if I may direct the same question to you, the political uncertainty that's coming out of a move where there is no political air, where there is no second in command, one doesn't know who is calling the shots and who will be calling the shots, whether it's in Tamil Nadu or whether it's Mamata Banerjee or Nitish Kumar or Arvind Kejriwal here in Delhi. Is that a phenomena that Indian politics is going to deal with repeatedly now? Is Dr. Ram there? Is Swami back with us? All right, Swami, if you can hear me, do I need to repeat my question? Yes, please carry on. Carry on, Swami.
Yeah.
I can carry on.
Yes. We have a serious institutional erosion in state after state. Once upon a time, there was a proper political party structure with a leader, with deputy leaders, with a clear kind of chain of a hierarchy or a chain of command. Now, increasingly, we are moving into parties which are one-person parties. In some cases, there used to be a successor as a member of the family. Now we are getting to a situation where you have leaders who don't even have obvious successors within the family. Jayalalitha didn't have a family, nor does Mamta, nor does Mayavati. Nitish is in a kind of similar position. Now it is, from India's point of view, I think very sad. I think it's very sad that we are increasingly moving towards, on the one hand, very, very important individuals with dynasties. And where there is no dynasty, you still don't get an institutional structure where there is a clear idea of, a number two, number three, or a possibility of people getting together and having a clear notion of what kind of succession should we have. It is an institutional failure, and I think we will pay for it. We may get periods of very bad governance because of
It's an institutional... All right, it's an institutional failure and we may end up paying for this. But Sagarika, you want to come in on that? The lack of political succession. If you look at it at one level, it's a good thing because it opens up politics to many other people, the whole dynasty politics that we keep abhorring. But the other way to look at it is, it leaves a lot of room for speculation, uncertainty. One doesn't know how to deal with in a situation like the one we're witnessing. And we'll perhaps see a repeat of this in state after state because a lot of our political leaders who are extremely, extremely strong in their regional spheres actually don't have a successor in place. There is no heir appointed.
There is no heir, there is no possibility of even generating heirs when, the institutional mechanism that actually keeps these parties together is blind loyalty. Jayalalitha, Mamta Banerjee, Mayawati, these are leaders who are basing their leadership on blind, unquestioning loyalty, where you have to actually do the prostrate pranam, the lying down on the floor literally and touching your feet to touching your head to the feet of the leader. That's the kind of obeisance and loyalty that these leaders rule by. So as a result, these are certainly not democratic parties in that sense. These are in fact almost like large militias headed by a single commander who insists on complete blind loyalty. Now having said that, the fact is that Jayalalitha has kept this party together. It split after MGR passed away, but she then managed to win polls and emerge as the victor in the fight with Jayalalitha, with MGR's wife. She then won poll victory after poll victory, and she has steered this mighty machine of the AIA-DMK through 2.5 decades to emerge as a kind of mighty figure in politics. And the kind of things she has undergone, she was attacked in the Tamil Nadu Assembly very badly. Her sari was torn. She was in fact almost molested by the DMK when she was leader of the opposition in 1989. And these events have left her like a kind of valiant war horse. She's come out of it almost like, people have described it as what happened to Draupadi. So she has enjoyed the same kind of cult figure in politics as her hero MGR. And there is a hero worshipping kind of idolatory culture in our politics today, perhaps which is created also by the media. It's created also by the giant cardboard cutouts. Tamil Nadu is the home of the cardboard cutouts of leaders. These are gigantic cardboard cutouts of leaders that literally dot the landscape over there. And a lot of political mobilization happens through the fan clubs. MGR has these local fan clubs. He had these local fan clubs all over Tamil Nadu when he was at his height as a film star. And these fan clubs kind of become political cadres. So it's really fans who are going out there to mobilize in favor of the party. These are not, in that sense, party volunteers, but they are it's like a fan following for one leader, for one superstar. So you're absolutely right. I think this is not a democratic phenomenon at all. I think it is quite a feudal phenomenon. It's a phenomenon that is actually perhaps taking our politics backwards. But on the other hand, when you have these kind of vast unruly parties, these massive cadres spread across these vast states, perhaps you do need this commander-like person at the top to keep the flock together and to get this unquestioned loyalty and to make them into a fighting force. And that's what Jayalalitha did. I mean, let's face it, she's kept the AIA-DMK together for over 2 decades. And she's done it with a huge amount of political acumen. She's known when to ally with whom, she's known how to play her caste cards, she's known how to dole out the freebies, she's known how to create this cult of unquestioned loyalty so that there's no rebellion against her at all. So she has, the price that the AIA-DMK has paid for surviving for so long has been the fact that it's done so through a supreme leader. If it had been perhaps a more democratic force, maybe it wouldn't have survived even. But in that sense, she's kept the flock together. But
Indeed.
But democratically, I think it spells doom for our democracy when we have leaders. You know, this is the Indira Gandhi mold that you don't even need party people. You actually reach across the party to the people in a kind of direct contract. So it's you and the people.
Right.
And
right.
your party just is a vehicle for your own personality. So this is the Indira Gandhi model in a way that perhaps all these state leaders have emulated.
Indeed, it's an important discussion, ruthless politician and the cult of unquestioned loyalty. But I just want to move away and in a quick closing comment, Swami, I want you to comment on just beyond Jayalalitha, we continue to pray for her well-being, but if we were to just move beyond her, the policies in Tamil Nadu, I mean, she's known to be a populist leader, she's pro-poor, pro-woman, she's talked about all this Amma canteen, the policies beyond Jayalalitha, because Tamil Nadu is known to be a business-friendly state. It's the Detroit of India. Many people refer to Tamil Nadu as the Detroit of India. Is that an autopilot? Does that continue for a state like Tamil Nadu? Or are there reasons for Indian industry or people other than Indian industry who have their money sunk in to worry today?
I was down there during the election campaign. The business people I talked to said the days when Tamil Nadu was truly business friendly, those days are over. They were saying under Jayalalitha in the last 5 years, things have drifted, they have got worse and worse, corruption has got worse and worse. A medical college man said we've got to the stage where you now require environmental clearance for a medical college. And the clearance costs so much per square foot of the area of the medical college. So, while Tamil Nadu historically certainly has attracted industry a lot, the argument was being made that in fact it is going downhill. The argument was made that Ford, which started off with an admirable large decision that Tamil Nadu is the best place for us, it is now setting up a second factory in Gujarat. Some people will say this is just diversification. Other people will say no. It's a sign that, once upon a time, this really did look like one of the best states. Now people are diversifying away. You don't see more and more auto companies focusing on Tamil Nadu. You see many of them diversifying out to Gujarat, which is seen as much more business friendly. So yes, while the state had this reputation, it was deteriorating. And we have to see whether, if there is a successor to Jayalalitha in the AIA-DMK, how they play that particular game.
Sagarika, you want to come in on that? We'll give you the last word on this this special show, and I'm going to connect with both of you if there is at all any official news that comes in and if this story does progress. But Tamil Nadu had that tag of being business-friendly, something that was slowly being eroded. Can Jayalalitha's possible successor, if an untoward incident were to happen, perhaps redeem that?
Supriya, I think what Jayalalitha stood for is not so much business friendly, although of course that was part of her policies in an earlier avatar, but towards the end it was just populism, populism, populism. I mean, it was really populism all the way. But it was populism that actually was welfarist and in fact highly appreciated across Tamil Nadu. I went to an Amma canteen when I was there for the elections, and I had the sambar rice, I remember, for about 5 rupees. And what struck me was just how clean it was. It was very clean and the food was really good. So the food was presented with a lot of dignity. It may have been cheap food, it may be food for the poor, but it was presented in a very clean plate. The surroundings were spotless, and the food was really good. And the people who I spoke to, who were also eating 5 rupees sambar rice with me, were saying that, you know, this is great and it's almost like what we get at home. So I think there was a kind of dignity for the poor that she was able to communicate, which I think really won her a great amount of support and approval, because it really was striking just how well-functioning and how clean those Amma canteens were. Aside from that, you know, there was Amma water, there was Amma medicines, there was Amma fruit, there was Amma fruit juice, there was Amma sweets.
Right.
So there was a huge range of Amma merchandise that was out there for people to buy, in addition to, of course, the cutouts and the slogans and the posters. So I'm not sure whether it was, towards the end, whether she was that much into creating the business environment, but whether it was more and more just going the popular way. Also, you know, the sops that she gave out in the elections, this time there was gold, there was money, there were mixer grinders, there were laptops, there were all kinds of sops that she doled out. Even on prohibition, you know, she had actually been accused of promoting, in fact, of promoting those liquor stores, and she in fact was very sensitive to that. She was using liquor money to fund her sops. So in fact, she had gone out of her way to make herself much more moderate on her support of liquor. She had actually said that she would bring in some kind of prohibition of some kind to assuage the women's vote. So I think towards the end, Jayalalitha was just all about populism and sops, but it was excellent welfarism perceived. What it was perceived of was excellent welfarism.
Indeed, but on that note, completely out of time on this edition of this very special show. Thanks very much, Sagrika Ghosh and Swaminathan Iyer, for joining in. We'll, of course, connect later this evening if the story does progress. For now, Jayalalitha remains extremely critical and India continues to pray for Tamil Nadu's Chief Minister.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.